Hi, Lisa Starr Francis here with the What is in a Name. This is a series of 26 videos. Each video focuses on one alphabet letter. And I am doing this series because I'm a little searcher and I was searching about letters because letters and words, it's the word oracle, and letters are the lexicon because they form the words that we're using. So each card in the word oracle is represented by a letter. So you can see there's a letter D on that card, and there will be a letter D on all four of these cards because this deck has four separate color coded sections, let's just call them. Gold, purple, green, and orange are the four sections. There are actually 10 colors in the system, but this is the way they are presented. So the word oracle, as I said, the alphabet is the lexicon, and I was looking at what letters of the alphabet that are used the most for people's first initial. And I was surprised to find that it was the letter J was the number one letter. And just doing that inspired me to share in this way what these letters mean as far as the architecture of our name. Because one of the many things that this oracle does is a thing that is called your name code. And it is similar to numerology in that it is dealing with the alphabet and numbers. So it's, if you know about numerology, then you'll have that understanding. And the name code works with our birth name. So one has a complete thing done with their name that they had at birth. And the premise is that within our names, alphabet letters, each letter is associated with certain attributes that we, at a soul level, chose that these are the attributes that we intend to fully work with and embody in our body journey when we came here to be in a body. So the name code shows us the architecture of those gifts or attributes that our soul intended to live out in this experience. And obviously, we have life experiences that allow us to bring those gifts to life. Those attributes are allowed to work. And also, equally, life can offer experiences that don't allow the attribute to fully come into bloom, as I like to say. So I come here with one letter to talk about the attributes of that letter so that you can identify through hearing what I say whether you are whether you in your life are operating that attribute. Are you allowing it to come to full bloom, or has it laid dormant because as simple as someone discouraging us at one point or another can allow us not to fully let aspects of ourselves flourish. So sometimes people struggle with purpose, and I have found that when we do the name code, if we had struggles with our purpose, when we bring all the attributes back into activity through using the name code, which is what it does, when that happens, we feel on purpose. We might still have the same job, the same life, the same house, the same everything, but we actually feel on purpose, because being on purpose is not about what we're doing. It's in the doing way. It is about the things that the natural attributes that we intended to actualize, embody as we are here. So when we are doing that, we are on purpose and we feel on purpose. And as I said, our life could remain exactly the same. We would just have a sense of being on purpose. All right, so that's my little short, under 5 minute chat about your name code and basically what it is about. So now let's get to today's letter, which is the letter D. So if you have the letter D in your name, if your name begins with D, if you have multiple D's, all D's should and could um, listen to this. You know, I had to change the should to a could because should is a pushy word, and it does trigger feeling like, you know, we ought to, because like it's some kind of rule. So it's not a rule. I offer this as a could. You could listen and you could notice whether you as a D have these attributes functioning for yourself, fully blooming. Okay, so we are going to get to that. Okay, so I just need to move this over so I can be clear. Okay, so you can see there are four D cards. So there are 4D attributes. Each letter has 4 attributes, 4 kind of gifts it was coming in with. So it's the architecture. So you need four corners. You need, so every letter has its 4 corners. Every letter has 4 attributes. Okay. So the letter D, this first card represents the letter D and what it means architecturally speaking, what D's came in with. So soft and safe is the name of the card. Soft and safe. So for some that have the D as the first letter or somewhere in the name, the D person seems like they have a natural sense of ease within themselves. That's how they appear to us. They appear to move through life feeling held and steady. Like these people, yeah, they have that steadiness. Like they just somehow know it's going to, everything's always working out. They sort of have that about them. If the D attribute is of soft and safe, is actually in full blossom, that person is moving through life in that feeling held and steady way. They are just at that place. If the D has had this laying dormant, it could show up as they find it harder to relax and feel safe in life, like to have a sense of safety. These people never really seem to relax. Even if life is good for them, they can't find a way to relax and have a sense of safety. Because if it's dormant, that's how it's likely to show up. And the D who's in this position where it's dormant, they may feel the need to stay guarded. Okay, they may feel the need to protect themselves. Soft and safe is about having that natural ease. If it hasn't blossomed, they aren't going to have that natural ease that shows up like that. It's going to show up maybe more guarded. So as a D, you want to look at that and say, am I more often in the, I have the attribute going, or am I, this attribute is a bit dormant and I need to notice when I am feeling guarded so that I can work towards the sense of ease, because that's what this gift is about. So as I give you these clues, no one needs to get their name code done by me. You can, but you don't need to. If you listen to this and you're self-directed, then you can know, oh, when I notice I'm feeling guarded or I don't feel relaxed, I don't feel safe, I realize that actually I came with the attribute that I can be feeling held and steady no matter what. I can feel a sense of ease within myself because I came with that in my architecture. I just haven't fully developed it, but I can. So I don't want it to seem like you're dependent on me to get a name code so you can figure this out. If you listen to the attributes, you should be able to figure it. Oh, there's that should word. You could be able to actually find a way to work it for yourself. Thank you, God, for the correction from the should to the could. Thank you very much, because life is about choice, choice in every place. Okay, so the second D card, this one calls itself um, what's lurking in the shadow? What's lurking in the shadow? So the attribute that this card, if the D name, so your name begins with D, you have D in your name, you have it multiple times. Pay attention, because this attribute or gift shows up as having an openness to see all parts of yourself. So if you're a D and you're open to see all the parts of yourself, and that you can meet whatever arises without turning away from it. So if you see something about yourself that is not a shining quality, and you can look at it and you don't turn away from it, you don't think, you know that that is the blossoming effect of this attribute, because this attribute in its fullness is able to see all parts of themselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they don't turn away from the things that they find. They won't turn away from themselves. They're here to be fulfilling their purpose, and so they don't turn away from themselves. Okay, so a D that has had this laying dormant for whatever reason that life caused it to lay dormant. This D might notice that certain parts of themselves are hard to face. Like they don't really, it's uncomfortable to face certain parts of themselves. These Ds may feel like that. This D could have a tendency to avoid or push things to the side rather than look at them. So we know the D in its full blossom, having this architecture in your name, means that you have the ability, you came with the gift, the attribute that allows you to be open to all parts of yourself. You came with that built in, and you came with the ability to not turn away from yourself. If you're not operating that fully, it just means it's laying dormant because somewhere along the line it got stunted. That is life. Life happens. We could simply be told no or face some sort of answer to something that could make us lay any of our attributes down and allow them to go dormant. So when we hear these and we notice that we're more dormant than active, we have to have compassion for ourselves. And of course, the third card is called Sky Full of Compassion. So here it is, right here. This is an attribute for D. So your D name, you have this attribute, and if it's flourishing, if it's blossomed, if you're using it fully, it shows up as the natural softness towards yourself and others. That's how it shows up. That understanding and care come really easily to a person with this attribute, fully blossomed, sky full of compassion. This person, yes, understanding and care comes super, super easy for this person. So that is a real thing. And if a D person this is laying dormant, it would appear to be for those who have had some reason for it to go into dormancy, whatever life reason that might be. It might feel easier for the D to judge or hold on to things tightly. That might be what it feels like. And for the D that isn't fully blossomed, it's going to seem like less room for gentleness in them. So if you notice that, you can move toward the natural softness toward yourself and others, because that's a part of your architecture. You're not having to make it up. It's not a quality you don't have. It's simply a quality that is laying dormant. So you don't have to stay that. If you notice, oh, she's talked about that, and I know that is laying dormant in me, you don't have to let it lay dormant, because that gift exists. That attribute, you have it. You never lose it. It can only lay dormant, but it never goes away. Okay? So we can pick it up at any point. All right, so the final D card is this one right here. And this card calls itself, hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. And so how does this show up? This shows up for some who are, got it blossoming. They got the D going on. So this is the D with the D going on. D in the front of your name, D anywhere in your birth name. Okay. Hello, I'm here. This one is about the natural willingness to be seen and heard. This person, naturally ready to be seen and heard. Fully blossomed, no problem. These people express themselves without holding back. Okay, that's this attribute with the D. Okay, and some Ds that have had this laying dormant find it easier to stay quiet or keep in the background, like a wallflower. All right, not upsetting the apple cart. Okay, just staying quiet in the background, and they probably have a hesitation to speak up. So if that you are a D and you hesitate to speak up, it just shows you the information that at some point something happened that made it seem as if speaking up was somehow not safe for you. But you came with the architecture that you have the ability to speak up. It is a natural attribute. It is a gift you came in with, a gift you have never lost. It is only dormant. So any of these gifts that I have given us all insight into through the Word Oracle, through the alphabet letters, any of these that we find in our name, any of these letters, and we notice that we are more dormant there. Now that you understand that dormant doesn't mean non-existent. Dormant simply means laid down and not being fully, not taking full advantage of that gift. But the gift is there. And any one of us can take those ones that we have had lay dormant, and we aren't looking at the laying dormant like it's anyone's fault. We're looking at it as data that is where we're at. Doesn't matter why. It's just data that's where we're at. And the other part of the data says we can be at this other place because it's natural to us. It's an attribute that our soul chose so we could fully actualize and embody the journey we intended to have here. So that is all for the letter D today. I trust that you will find that this is interesting to you if you have the letter D. I would love some comments underneath. If you're a D and any of this spoke to you, it'd be great for you to leave me a comment. Let me know that you listened to this, that you watched this, and that this in some way was relevant to you, and that you in some way found this to be giving you some insight and revealing to you that indeed you came with all kinds of architecture built right in that you picked out at a soul level. Isn't it great? I'll see you again tomorrow when I will be back with the letter R. So if your name begins with R or your name has R in it, that is tomorrow's letter. So this is the end of today's video for what is in a name, letter D. Thank you.